ist das erste deutsche Fernsehen mit der Tagesschau.
For our analysis of cross-cultural communication and negotiation in international business, our group has selected Germany as one of the focus countries. Germany was chosen because of its strategic importance in the global economy and its distinct approach to communication and negotiation, which together make it an excellent case for cross-cultural study. To begin with, Germany is the largest consumer market in the European Union, with a population of over 83 million people. As a result, it represents a highly attractive market for international companies and frequently becomes the setting for cross-border negotiations involving pricing, partnerships, and long-term contracts. Moreover, Germany is one of the leading economies in the world and is particularly well known for its strength in export-oriented industries, such as automotive manufacturing, engineering, information technology, and renewable energy. Consequently, German firms are deeply embedded in global supply chains and regularly engage in negotiations with partners from diverse cultural backgrounds. Another important aspect of the German economy is the Mittelstand, which consists of small and medium-sized enterprises that are often family-owned, highly specialized, and internationally competitive. In practice, these firms place a strong emphasis on quality, reliability, and long-term cooperation, all of which significantly influence their negotiation behavior. From a geographical perspective, Germany's central location in Europe further enhances its role as a hub for trade, logistics, and business operations. Therefore, many international companies interact with German partners not only by choice, but also because of Germany's strategic position within European and global markets. Finally, Germany operates within a stable and transparent legal and regulatory framework. Contracts and intellectual property rights are strongly protected, which builds trust in business relationships. At the same time, this legal stability leads to negotiations that are formal, structured, and focused on detailed agreements. Taken together, these factors clearly explain why Germany is a highly relevant and meaningful country for examining cross-cultural communication and negotiation in international business.
In this segment, we will be exploring the negotiation tips and process specific to Germany. Known for its precision and structured approach, Germany has unique cultural aspects that heavily influence how negotiations are conducted. So now let's dive into the key points that need to know when negotiating with German counterparts. So the first tip when negotiating in Germany is punctuality. Being on time is not just appreciated but expected. Germans view punctuality as a sign of respect and professionalism. If you are late, it can be seen as disrespectful, and this can hurt your credibility. Next, direct communication is key. Germans prefer to communicate clearly and directly without ambiguity. If you're vague or indirect, it may be misinterpreted as evasiveness or lack of confidence. Therefore, be clear, concise, and get to the point. And preparation is the foundation of any successful negotiation in Germany. It's essential that you come well prepared with facts, data, and a structured agenda. Germans place great importance on logic and evidence-based arguments, so avoid any unfounded claims or emotional appeals. Alright, moving on. Formal business etiquette is a must in Germany, especially in the initial stages of business relationship. Use formal titles such as Mr. or Mrs. and address your counterparts with respect. First names are usually reserved for later when a closer relationship is established. A clear agenda is crucial in every meeting. Germans like structure and transparency. Meetings are expected to follow a predefined agenda with clear objectives, and they don't like unnecessary small talk. So, ensure that you have a well-structured plan for your discussions. And finally, straightforwardness is highly valued. Germans tend to avoid excessive flattery or indirectness. They appreciate when you get straight to the point, discussing issues directly with honesty. Now, let's talk about the negotiation process in Germany. The initial meeting often sets the tone for the entire negotiation. It's typically formal and focused on building trust and setting clear expectations. While small talk may be minimal, the goal is to understand each other's objective and establish a solid foundation for future discussion. Information gathering and presentation are also essential in the German negotiation process. You need to present your case with a clear facts, data, and logical reasoning. Germans expect that all the relevant information is provided upfront, and they will likely ask detailed questions to verify the details. When it comes to bargaining, expect it to be straightforward and to the point. Germans are less likely to engage in emotional appeals or subjective arguments. Instead, they focus on facts and practical solutions to the problem at hand. Decision-making in Germany tends to be a collaborative process. It's not uncommon for negotiations to involve multiple decision makers. Consensus is often sought before a final decision is made, and this can take time as everyone's input is considered. It's important to be patient and respectful of this process. Once an agreement is reached, contract finalization is the next step. In Germany, contracts are not just agreements. They are legally binding documents that must be clear and comprehensive. Both parties will typically review the term in great detail, and there is little room for ambiguity. This step is essential to ensure that everyone understands and agrees on all of the deal.
I'm meeting with some German clients next week. Do you have any tips for negotiating with Germans?
Absolutely. One thing to keep in mind is that Germans value directness and clarity. Be clear and concise in your communication and avoid using vague language or beating around the bush.
That's good to know. I've also heard that Germans value punctuality and respect for schedules. Is that true?
Yes, that's correct. Germans are known for being punctual and sticking to schedules. Make sure to arrive on time and be respectful of their time. It shows that you value their business.
Interesting. What about their negotiation style? Do they prefer a collaborative or competitive approach?
Germans tend to prefer a more competitive approach, but they also value fairness and transparency. Make sure to come prepared with data and facts to support your arguments and be willing to compromise when necessary.
That makes sense. I've also heard that building personal relationships is important in German business culture. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. Germans value building trust and rapport before doing business. Take the time to get to know your German counterparts and show interest in their culture and language. It goes a long way in building a successful business relationship.
Thanks for sharing your tips. I feel more prepared for my meeting now.
You're welcome. Just remember to be respectful, direct, and prepared, and you'll do great.
Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about bargaining behavior in Germany and how German culture influences the way people negotiate. This is really useful if you are studying international business or planning to work with people from different countries.
Meetings, Besprechungen is as we call it in German.
Is an important part of the socializing at the workplace, to get to know people and sort of, interact with people. Is it more what happens at work than what happens after work when it comes to this thing, if you understand my question?
Actually, for Germans, we are very formal when it's something important or something that we want to know or something that is work related and we need information from somebody. Then we really tend to not put this into a meeting outside a meeting room. We have this formal meetings, Besprechungen is as we call it in German, and these are the times where we share information. Sometimes it's hard for us when we are in other cultures and they share information outside of an official meeting to really be serious about the information we get in these informal, having a coffee break together or lunch and so on. So this is quite a typical thing that we tend to divide very strict between a private setting or a non-official setting and a formal meeting situation. And we tend to be more serious about the formal. And we take the information that is coming in there more seriously than outside these formal settings.
And lunch obviously is an informal.
So, now let's look at German bargaining style. In Germany, negotiations are usually very structured and systematic. Meetings follow a clear agenda and everything is done step by step. Germans like to be organized and well prepared before discussing any deal. The second one is communication is also very direct. They say exactly what they mean, whether they agree or disagree. This doesn't mean they are rude, it just shows honesty or professionalism. Another key feature is the use of fact-based arguments. German negotiations rely on data, numbers, and logical reasoning rather than emotions or personal opinion. They also tend to make realistic offers from the start. Instead of extreme opening position, they prefer fair and practical proposal, so there is usually less haggling. Finally, German place strong emphasis on contracts. Written agreements are detailed and taken very seriously. Once a contract is signed, they expect everyone to follow it exactly. Overall, German bargaining style is professional, logical, and focused on reaching a clear and reliable agreement. Next, let's look at the cultural factors that influence how Germans bargain. One important factor is low context communication. In German culture, people prefer clear and direct message. They usually say exactly what they mean. So in negotiations, straightforward language is expected rather than hints or indirect expression. Another factor is high uncertainty avoidance. Germans generally feel more comfortable when things are well planned and clearly defined. That's why they prefer detailed agendas, careful analysis, and precise contracts during negotiation. It's helped reduce risk and misunderstanding. Germany also has low power distance. This means that status and hierarchy are less important than expertise. In bargaining, good ideas and strong arguments matter more than job titles. Everyone is expected to contribute professionally. In addition, German culture is quite achievement-oriented. People value efficiency, performance and quality, so negotiation focus strongly on result and practical outcomes rather than personal relationship or emotion. Finally, Germans often have a long-term focus. They prefer agreements that are reliable and sustainable over time instead of quite short-term gains. All these cultural values shape German bargaining into a style that is logical, structured, and highly professional.
You already know what collective agreements are, but how do they actually come about? Let's take a look at that now. There are two options. Either an existing agreement is to be amended, in which case the existing collective agreement will be terminated in due time. This may be the case, for example, if salaries are to be adjusted or a part-time arrangement is to be introduced, or if a company has never had a collective agreement before. For their part, trade unions convene collective bargaining committees to decide on specific demands, which are usually not accepted in full by the employers, however. Representatives of the employer then sit down at the negotiating table with the trade unions, who represent the workforce. This often requires several rounds of negotiations. These can sometimes take weeks or even months. In the meantime, the previous collective agreement stays in effect. This is known as ultra activity. Collective bargaining is often accompanied by temporary warning strikes, in which workers put down work by the hour. They want to put pressure on the employers. If the bargaining parties do not reach an agreement, despite several rounds of negotiations, they have the option of calling in an independent arbitrator. However, the negotiating parties are not obliged to accept the arbitrator's proposals. After much discussion, the employers and trade unions usually agree on a compromise and settle on a collective agreement. Formally, it initially applies only to members of the trade unions. However, most employers also adopt the conditions for all the employees in their companies. The collective agreement is now in force until one of the parties terminates the contract. If no agreement is reached, the union has the option of calling on its workers to go on indefinite strike. But more about that in another video.
Anyone who's actually lived and worked in Germany knows Germans are not efficient. This is how most people solve problems. There's a problem, you fix the problem's solved. This is how Germans solve problems. Oh no, we must have a meeting. Whose fault was it? I think that we should have a meeting. No, wait, we must ask for permission. We have created a system to try to solve this problem. Perhaps we should have a meeting to discuss how to be efficient. But we cannot do this. But guys, we can just do this. This is how we can solve the problem. No, there are rules and there are systems. Yeah, I think there is actually an easier way to do this. Oh, it is 5 p.m. I am leaving work now. And it is also a 4-day weekend. I am going to Mallorca. Right, but can we just solve this problem first? Oh, I love Mallorca. Okay, can we get back to this problem? Oh no, we cannot do this. We need to have more meetings and we need to ask for permission. I really think we can do this. Oh, well, let me call Franz. Who the fuck is Franz? Oh, he is a white male heterosexual who is niche an Auslander. He is a German and he is our authority figure. Yeah, hello, this is Franz. Oh, Franz, we need to have meetings. There's nothing that we can do. The system, then maybe you should do this. Oh, yeah, you are so right. Thank you, Franz. Oh, yeah. Oh, Franz always knows what to do. I have been telling you that this is what we need to do. Oh, this is what Franz has told me to tell you to do. Yeah. And that is German efficiency.
When people talk about German decision-making, the most important thing is to understand that Germans do not start small, they start wide. A decision is not viewed as a single isolated choice, but as part of a larger system. The first question is rarely what should we do, but rather how does this connect to everything else? Germans think systematically. They seek to understand how individual elements relate to one another, how they influence each other, and what patterns emerge from those connections. For this reason, the idea of breaking a complex issue into smaller pieces is often viewed skeptically. From a German perspective, breaking something apart can remove its meaning. Instead of simplifying complexity, Germans prefer to enter into it and understand it as a whole. This way of thinking explains the high value placed on overview. In German, Überblick means the ability to see a situation in its entirety. Losing overview means losing control. Closely related is Durchblick, which refers to seeing through a situation, understanding not only the details but also the logic behind them. A person who has Durchblick is also seen as competent and trustworthy. The third concept is Umsicht, which means prudent awareness and careful consideration of all relevant factors before acting. Together, these ideas describe what good judgment looks like in the German context. Another central aspect of German decision-making is the strong desire to avoid surprises. While Germans appreciate careful presentation, they prefer to know in advance what they are committing to. This explains the extensive research that often precedes even everyday decisions. Options are compared, risks are evaluated, alternatives are examined, and reversibility is considered. This behavior is especially visible in planning. Germans rarely make major plans without preparation. Decisions are front-loaded with information gathering. Even after a decision has been made, such as booking a trip, planning continues in detail. The goal is not control for its own sake, but the reduction of uncertainty and disappointment. Before a decision can be made, Germans invest significant time in defining the question itself. This is known as the Fragestellung. From a German point of view, it makes little sense to give a good answer if the question has not been clearly and correctly defined. Discussions therefore often focus on what decision is actually being made, why it is being made, and whether everyone involved understands it in the same way. Principles also play an important role. Germans place value on grundsätzliches Denken, meaning thinking based on foundational beliefs and long-term principles. Acting without principles is often seen as a sign of weak character. This is why German discussions can sometimes sound abstract or philosophical. The purpose is to establish a solid foundation before moving forward. Time is another factor. Germans tend to think in mid-term and long-term horizons. Short-term thinking is often associated with superficiality and risk. When making decisions, Germans want to anticipate the effects a choice will have over time and across different areas. Patience is therefore considered a strength, not a weakness. Analysis is central to this approach. A step in the decision-making process is considered complete only when all relevant information has been gathered and examined carefully. Germans tend to rely on structured methods and proven tools. Intuition is not rejected, but it is treated with caution and usually follows analysis rather than replacing it. Underlying all of this is a strong sensitivity to risk. Germany has historically had limited resources and little margin for error. Mistakes are costly and often difficult to undo. As a result, there is a strong preference for getting things right the first time. Rules, processes, and procedures are seen as ways to reduce uncertainty and personal liability. These differences can create tension in international contexts. Germans may view others as acting too quickly or without sufficient analysis. Others may view Germans as slow or overly cautious. From the German perspective, however, the goal is not speed, but reliability, quality, and stability. Once a decision is made, the expectation is that it will be implemented consistently. Changing directions frequently undermines the value of the careful process that preceded the decision. In short, German decision-making is about understanding the system, defining the questions clearly, minimizing risk, and allowing enough time for a decision to mature. The guiding belief is simple: think first, then act.
Next, I will talk about the communication styles in Germany, highlighting key characteristics such as direct communication, low context messaging, and a strong emphasis on clarity, and explain how these factors shape negotiation outcomes. First, let's look at verbal communication. In Germany, communication is generally direct, clear, and precise. Germans tend to say exactly what they mean and expect others to do the same. This direct communication style helps reduce misunderstandings, save time, and allows negotiations to be more efficient. Politeness is still important, but it is usually expressed through honesty and professionalism rather than indirect language. As a result, being well prepared, factual and straightforward is highly valued in German negotiations. Next, let's discuss nonverbal communication. In Germany, nonverbal cues such as eye contact, body language, and personal space play an important role. Maintaining steady eye contact is seen as a sign of confidence, sincerity, and attentiveness. Body language is usually controlled and formal, as excessive gestures may be viewed as unprofessional. Germans also prefer a reasonable amount of personal space and may feel uncomfortable if others stand too close. Silence during conversations is often used to think carefully and is generally accepted, especially in business discussions. Lastly, communication styles in Germany have a strong impact on negotiation outcomes. Because Germans value directness and clarity, they may view indirect communication as vague or unreliable. At the same time, people from more indirect cultures may find the German communication style too blunt or strict. When negotiators understand these differences and adapt accordingly, they can build trust, avoid misunderstandings, and achieve more effective and mutually beneficial agreements. In conclusion, understanding both verbal and nonverbal communication styles in Germany is essential for successful negotiations. Being clear, direct, respectful, and culturally aware can greatly improve communication and lead to better negotiation outcomes, especially in international business settings. That's all from me. Bye!
The Germans like being precise, so mind your language. They may take idioms quite literally.
Guten Abend.
Guten Abend.
What's up?
An aluminium panel roofing and 2 LED lamps?
No, I didn't mean it literally, Ray. I meant, how are you?
I am German. We like to be precise in everything.
Oh, I get it. Okay. So, what's the update on the delivery?
The lathe machine?
Yes. Better late than never. Eh?
It is German lathe. It is not just better, but best.
So, you're not expecting any roadblocks on the schedule, right?
No, it will be sent by ship to India, not by road.
Okay.
So, the advance, it will come on the 7th.
I've already sent it.
You are joking.
Nahi re. Think of it as payment at Autobahn speed. My Axis Bank Forex app. Check your phone.
Yes, it has come.
Mag.
You can expect your delivery in 25 days. Guten Tag.
Leonta.
Good day everyone. In this part of the video, the focus is on conflict management in Germany. Within an international Zoom negotiation setting, the scenario involves a German project manager, an overseas supplier, and a marketing lead facing tension over deadlines and documentation. German workplace culture is known for direct communication, punctuality, and strong respect for structure and procedures, and these values strongly shape how conflicts are expressed and resolved. In our scenario, the conflict begins when the German side expects a quality documentation to be finalized well before a product launch, while the overseas team assumes more flexibility in timing. What starts as a technical issue about documents quickly turns into a deeper problem of trust, reliability, and perceived professionalism. In the German context, missing deadlines or unclear agreements can be interpreted as a threat to credibility, because being on time and meeting commitments is seen as a basic sign of respect. At the same time, the non-German team feels blame and pressured because their own working style is more flexible and less rule-driven, which is a typical source of cross-cultural conflict. So next, what are the German approach towards the conflict? German professionals generally prefer to address conflict openly and directly, rather than avoiding it and hiding it behind polite hints. This directness focuses on facts and logic instead of emotions, and separating the person from the problem and aiming for a clear solution. In many German organizations, structured procedures, written protocols, and detailed documentation are not used only for compliance, but it is also as tools to prevent and resolve disagreements. As a result, conflict discussions can sound very blunt to outsiders, but within the German culture, they are often understood as honest, constructive feedback rather than personal attacks. After the situation is clarified, the professional facilitates a structured solution which fits very well with German conflict resolution norms. The group defines 3 elements: the specific issues, their impact on the project, and the concrete actions to fix them. For example, the parties agrees on a new fixed deadline for the documentation, expressed clearly in date, time, and time zone, and they commit to sending follow-up minutes within 24 hours after each meeting. This approach reflects the German emphasis on planning, punctuality, and precise commitments. The agreement is then documented in writing and shared with all of the participants, which not only creates transparency but also functions as a formal reference point if tensions appear again later. In the final part of the intervention, the professional briefly checks how each party feels about the new plan, and acknowledging the emotions exist but keeping the focus on the future. This mirrors German practice, where the emotional side is recognized but the task and solution remain at the center of the conversation. The key lesson for international business is that in Germany, open disagreement and critical feedback can actually be signs of engagement and responsibility, as long as they are connected to facts, structure, and clear follow-up steps. For foreign partners, learning to respond with calm, clarity, and well-documented solutions is essential for managing conflicts effectively and building long-term trust with German counterparts.
In conclusion, this analysis of Germany demonstrates how cultural values, economic strength, and legal systems jointly shape communication and negotiation practices in international business. First, Germany's negotiation culture is strongly influenced by its emphasis on structure and preparation. Communication tends to be clear and direct. Negotiations follow well-defined processes, and arguments are expected to be supported by facts and data. As a result, negotiations may take longer, but they are generally more predictable and outcome-oriented. Second, Germany's economic environment plays a key role in shaping negotiation behavior. As one of the world's leading industrial and export-driven economies, German companies often prioritize efficiency, quality, and long-term cooperation. Consequently, negotiations focus less on short-term gains and more on reliability and sustainable business relationships. Third, Germany's legal and institutional framework reinforces this approach. Strong contract enforcement and regulatory clarity encourage formal agreements and detailed documentation. While this reduces flexibility during negotiations, it also increases trust and accountability once agreements are reached. From an international business perspective, these characteristics highlight the importance of cultural adaptation. Negotiators who rely primarily on informal communication or emotional persuasion may face challenges in the German context. In contrast, those who prepare thoroughly, communicate transparently, and respect formal procedures are more likely to succeed. Reflecting on this, Germany illustrates a broader lesson in cross-cultural management. Effective international negotiation requires not only technical knowledge, but also an understanding of how national culture influences expectations, behavior, and decision-making. Ultimately, studying Germany reinforces the importance of cross-cultural awareness as a critical skill for negotiators operating in the global business environment.